first of all, I just realized I woke up this morning that this is the anniversary of my operation. I had open heart surgery 4 years ago.
Really?
And it's funny because now I'm trying to develop myself as a public speaker, professional public speaker. So this is my first opportunity to do this. So what you have up here is an example of my brain. This is how my brain works. It's all different kinds of things that go on in there. I also like to do things by the seat of my pants. Because to me, I want you to see the real me. I don't want you to see a plastic version of me. I want to be real. So I don't try to scare things too much because I've had so many experiences that I just want to share with you. And I think it's fun because there's so much I have learned. And what I've learned is that a lot of things I've learned are not true. And it drives me crazy. And so I'll give you a little bit of history of myself. First of all, how many of you have ever heard of GOAT? Have you ever heard the term GOAT?
Greatest of all
Well, the
time.
quarterback?
Greatest of
Brady?
all time, right?
Okay.
I'm not a GOAT. I'm a joke. I'm a jack of all trades. Okay, I like to tell I'm a dad, so I like to tell dad jokes. Also, you'll notice that I love taking acronyms and making them mean something. So you'll see a lot of this stuff. So let's start off with this. You know why we say mom? We go, Mom! Because mom stands for my opinion matters. There you go. Right? We never asked for dad, but mom was always there. Okay, so a little bit of history about myself. Right now, my profession is I teach ballroom dancing at San Jose State. Okay? And I've been doing that for 12 years. I've been a professional dancer for 25 years. But I also have an extensive background in lots of different things. I'm a jack of all trades. I was in the plastics industry for 12 years. Manufacturing, distribution, selling. I was also a title rep. I was also a loan officer. I got in right when it crashed. So I was in it for about a year. I used to also do children's fundraisers. So I used to go to schools and talk to people about raising money for schools. Let me see, instead of plastic surgery, I'm a former athlete. I've done martial arts, baseball, football, basketball, so I've done extensive training in a lot of sports. The only sport I didn't play was hockey. It's the only sport I didn't play. I played volleyball, all that stuff. And there was one more, and it escapes me, but it will come back to me. So today's topic, what I want to do is just basically share life's experiences and how the words we choose affect our lives. Okay? So the first thing is, when I teach dance, a lot of teaching dance is very much like teaching life. I don't know if most of you know that, because most of you probably never took out dance lessons. No, but it's really the same thing, because what I do is I take people who believe they can't do something and show them they can. Simply by understanding how they think and teaching the way they learn. The problem with most teachers that I see is they teach the way they learn, not the way the student learns. And that's what makes me, I feel unique. That's what, how I stick out in the world, because a lot of times teachers go, I've never had a teacher like you. That's because most teachers only teach one way. I teach 3 different ways. Depending on my audience, I will try to accommodate everyone. How many of you have ever heard of NLP? Neuro-linguistics programming. It's something that Anthony Robbins used to do. And I learned a little bit about it. I would say I'm a jack of all trades. I'm not an expert. But I use that in my teaching. You know, if I say something to somebody and they don't get it, I'll say it another way. And if they still don't get it, I move them. And they finally get the point. Okay, so let's talk about words matter. My first topic is stop needing to and start wanting to. So if you want to change your life, pay attention to that word need. How many times you say it. Okay, and I'll What that means was, if you were confident, you were considered arrogant, which is not the same thing. You can be confident and very humble. You just can't be arrogant without confidence. But yet we confuse the two. And what happens, what I found is that people, especially in my upbringing, if you felt good about yourself, you were bad. You're like, you can't feel that way about yourself. Why should you feel it? All the people are suffering. Why do you feel good about yourself? How many of us, you know? And we don't realize how much that affects us in our lives. Because just because you feel good about yourself, all of a sudden, you have to stop it. And that's, part of the negative thinking. So, arrogance and confidence is not the same thing. Simple versus easy. We confuse those two a lot. Okay? My other business, which is with my wife Deborah, is very simple. But it's not easy. So what's the difference? So I'll use my dance analogy for that. Okay? Dancing is very simple. I'm going to show you how simple it is. How many hands do you have? 2. Interaction. 2. How many feet do you have?
2.
2. How many ways can you turn?
2.
2. That's it. Notice everybody like, turn. How many ways can I?
I know.
It's 2. It's that simple. Even the footwork. Okay, the footwork is like this. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. That's it. That's dancing right there. Okay, but it's not easy. That's the difference. Okay? So, because how many of you ever here work with binary code? Zeros and ones. How complicated can it get?
Damn, it's easy.
It's so simple.
You have a convert.
Okay, so now we get to need versus want. Okay.
Yeah. Tell you to do binary now.
Ask yourself how many times you say the word need. I need to do this. I need to do that. I just read a book called The Power of the Subconscious Mind. How many of you have ever heard of it?
The subconscious mind?
Power of the Subconscious Mind. I forget who. I've got it on audio there.
This is the second time I've heard the name of that book in a week.
Okay, so
I
you
think
tell me
I
you
saw
should
it.
go look for it. Our subconscious mind is far more powerful than our conscious mind. Okay? I'll put it to you this way. Why is it that people who have the same education get different results? Same education.
Is that no answer?
Yeah.
Question? Okay. I would say because they in my world is the way they interpret what they learn. They interpret it differently.
The answer is history. Our histories determine where we go, not our knowledge, and that's the problem also. Okay, let's get back to simple need versus want. So for me, the word need means nothing ever develops. Okay? Think about it. When you say, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, are you doing it? No, you're not. Okay? I have this little saying. You'll never see a poster, forget the needy, feed the greedy. Why do greedy people get? And needy people don't?
Because they go get it.
Hmm?
The greedy go get it.
The greedy go get it and they want it. And that's the key, that word, want. Okay? I want you to also listen to how it changes the meaning of the sentence. I need a job. I want a job. I need to be in a relationship. I want to be in a relationship. I need to be happy. I want to be happy. Okay? Subconsciously, our brain hears those two words very differently. When you say need, you basically say, I have no power. Think about it. Your brain hears that, I have no power. I have no ability to choose what I want. When you say want, your brain says, I have the power. Now I just gotta figure it out. So I'm very particular. So I challenge any of you today, especially if you want to be rich, pay yourself $1 every time you say the word me. You'll be rich. And you know, pay attention to it. So I'll give you a quick story. I'm not average, I'll just say that. I don't think like the average person. I've always thought myself different, and I'll just leave it at that. So I went to this woman who was doing some healing work on me, through energy healing. And we were having this talk, and we became good friends. And she kept telling me, you know what I need? I said, you don't need anything. She goes, no, I need to find a man. I said, no, you don't need to find a man. You want to find a man. To make a long story short, I finally got her to stop saying me. I say, what do you want? She goes, I want to find a man who loves my child as much as he loves me. 6 months later, she found him. She married him. That's how powerful it is. Okay, I'll give this story. This is my favorite story. My wife heard this many, many times. Okay? I don't have a college education, yet here I am teaching in college. Okay? 12 years ago, I was offered a position at San Jose State as a substitute teacher. And I came home and I said, hon, I found my dream job. This is what I want to do listen to my words, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. She said, good luck. I said, what do you mean? She goes, you don't have a degree. I said, I don't care. I said, no, you don't understand. We're dealing with college institution. I said, you don't understand. I want this job. And I said, if I have to go to the newspapers and talk about what crap college really is, I will. Okay, just to give you an idea, the guy's job that I took over, okay, who taught ballroom dancing. Now remember, I'm a professional ballroom dancer. I compete, I make money from it, whatnot. The guy had an accounting degree. He couldn't even win a beginning level dance competition, yet he has more authority to teach dance than I do. Does that make sense to you? But that's how college is. He had a master's degree in accounting, which qualifies him to teach ballroom dancing. You wonder why our kids are messed up. Okay? I actually had a student come up to me and said, I have learned more about business through you than I did in my business class. Because we teach things wrong. Okay? So pay attention to that word, need versus want. Want to me is willing to apply new thinking. The bottom line is this: it's not your knowledge. How many of you have heard this? Knowledge is power.
Yeah.
It's not true. Applied knowledge is power. Okay? When I teach my kids, I said, okay, you know, we're all told the same thing. Go to school, get a degree, get a good job. Yet 60% of students don't get a job in what they study for. 60%. Do they tell them that? No. Do they also tell them, hey, for every job you want to apply for, 1,000 other people want the same job. What's going to make you different? And they all look at me like, what do you mean? Exactly. 1,000 people are going to want the same job. They're going to have the same degree you have. What's going to make you different? See, what people lack nowadays is this. What companies are looking for, believe it or not, is not knowledge. It is communication skills, problem-solving skills, and the ability to be independent. My wife works with another company, and she had someone who is a You have a master's?
No, oh, you're talking,
You don't have to mention names.
I won't mention the name. No, he got a bachelor's degree.
Bachelor's in business.
Yes.
He can't solve a problem, he can't figure his way out of it. What is it, he can't punch his way out of it.
It was clear that he, all of his tests were multiple choice. That was made crystal clear. Wow.
Kids are not taught how to solve problems. They're taught to memorize and purge. Imagine spending $40,000 to memorize and purge. That's what they do. You know, I've even run into some of my students, hey, you still dancing? No, well, I know dancing is not one of those things, but I test them every once in a while on some things, and they immediately forget it once they pass the test. Like, I'm done with that, I don't need that knowledge anymore. I'm like, no, there's a reason why you were given this knowledge, is so that you can retain it. Okay? How many of you use your calculators to figure things out?
No, Excel. We don't use calculators anymore.
For fun, for me, for fun, I think of X in my head. Okay, we are slowly starting to lose this. Okay? And I don't know if you've heard this. This is not a plug, this is true. Dancing slows down Alzheimer's. It's a scientific study. Dancing slows down Alzheimer's. The reason is there is nothing more complicated than dancing. For a man, it is the most difficult thing to do because we have to do 4 things at once. And as you know, we can only do 1 thing at a time.
With our one feeling.
And the one thing that always gets us, is feeling. Right? How many of you ladies ever ask a guy how he's feeling today? He doesn't understand why you're going to ask him.
It's over.
What's
I
that?
said it goes over like a turd in a punch bowl.
Because that's not how
That's a vision, that's a vision.
Nasty.
That's not how we're not raised to share our feelings, to talk about it. And here's the thing, you know, when I teach dancing, I also teach, this is the perfect opportunity for me to teach men about women and women about men. Because it's the safest place, I guess, to do it in, because they're all fumbling and stumbling in English. And one of the things that a lot of women, here's what I found. Go to a self-help section. Who will you find there? Men or women?
In a bookstore, you'll find
90%.
women.
If you had a section, how to fix a woman, 90% of the men will do it. Okay, we don't think of ourselves as the problem. We think of you as the problem because we don't understand you. Okay? So it's that type of thinking. Men, we don't think in the same realm. I am not the same person. Standing right here, sitting right here. How many years ago is that now?
I don't know.
25 years ago, I was not the same person. I went through a transformation of hell. Okay? And I am thankful for it. It was not the most fun part of my life. It was the worst part of my life. I had emotions coming out of, I was crying, I was hurting. I was like, everything I didn't want to feel, I went through. But you know what? It was well worth it. Because I now have a better understanding of life.
Okay.
I now have a better understanding of women. And in my job, I gotta know women. Because that's all my clients. And if I don't know how to deal with them, how to work with them, I wouldn't be successful in my field. Okay? So I have a little bit of background on that. All right. So let's talk about knowledge is power. This is something we're all told. And I like to think of knowledge as a tool. Okay? So if you have a tool or a vehicle. So if you have a college education, you drive a Cadillac. If you have a high school education, I'm not into cars, so excuse me, because this is how old this thought is. You drive BMW. And if you have zero education, you drive a Pinto. Actually, that don't make a Pinto. What's the worst car on the planet right now?
Pinto is, that, run with it, yeah.
Okay, so, but that's how far back.
Yeah. People who know what a Pinto is.
Yeah.
I had a Pinto in college, come on.
I did too.
Come on.
Yeah.
And it was a bomb in the back.
Yeah, right.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. See,
I did too, but it was a bomb, just waiting to go off.
here's the thing. It had gasoline in it, right?
Oh, yeah,
And guess what? You can go places when you have gasoline. Now, what if you have a Cadillac and you don't have any gas?
Walking.
Okay? That's the thing we don't teach students.
Sleeping in the parking lot with Rick.
Oh, man.
There we go. That's what we don't teach. Passion will get you further. If you are passionate about what you do, nothing will stop you. Knowledge simply just gets you there faster. So if you put gas in your Cadillac or your Maserati, yeah, you'll get to, the story I used was this. Let's say I have to go from San Francisco to LA. I have a Maserati, somebody else has a Pinto. But the Maserati doesn't have any gas. Is it gonna get to LA?
No.
No. But the Pinto has unlimited gasoline. Who's gonna get to LA first?
It won't be a fun ride, but.
It won't be.
But you'll get there.
But you'll get there. But see, but isn't that what life is? It's not a fun ride. Would you rather, what is it? Smooth sailing does not an experienced sailor make.
Oh,
How many of you heard that one? Okay, would you rather sail with someone who knows it all or who's been through it all? Yeah. See, we mistake knowledge with experience, and it's like, no wonder we're messed up. Okay, no wonder people don't know how to attract what they want because they lie to themselves. I was very clear when I said I wanted this job. I did not back down. And make a long story short, I've been teaching there now for 12 years. I look at it this way. Rules are meant for people to keep those who aren't willing to challenge them out. How many of you have heard, is there a book? I think there's a book called The Wall is the Way. Whatever you're being stopped by, that's what you have to go through.
Around or under.
Okay? There's a reason that wall is there. It says, that's
The
my
obstacle.
invitation.
The obstacle.
So what do you do? What do you do about it? Does it stop you? Or do you say, okay, I'm going through it? That's why it's called a breakthrough. Or go underground or go over around. But normally you got to break through the wall. Yes.
So the phrase I heard CSA in Sacramento probably a month ago is, what's in the way
Is the way. Yeah, that's it. What's in the way is the way. That is exactly it.
That is the book.
Okay?
We teach it
But
here.
yet most of us see the walls and that's it, I'm done. Okay? So whenever you're encountering something, that's the way you gotta go through. And guess what? Why do they call it growing pain? They don't call it growing fun. Think about the words we use. It's called growing pains for a reason. It's painful to grow. It's painful to change. Why is it painful to change? Because we're so comfortable. Even if the situation we're in is bad, we're just comfortable with it because we know what to expect. There's a story that one of our business talked about where I don't remember exactly the ruler, but he was a conqueror. He would conquer armies, and I don't know if Genghis Khan. And he would do this to his prisoners. He gave them two choices. He says, there's two doors. This door, you're going to be hung. That door, I I'm not gonna tell you what's behind it. And guess what most of them chose? Door where they're gonna be hung. What was the other door?
Freedom zone.
Freedom. We are so scared of the unknown, we would rather die than face it. Public speaking. This was, I never in my wildest dreams did I ever think I would be here speaking to you today. I was forced to become a public speaker, but I didn't realize I loved it. I was dating a woman at the time, not her. And she was so embarrassed about my speaking ability. She said, "You are going to go to Toastmasters because I don't want you to embarrass me." I looked at her and said, "I play baseball. What do I need to talk for?" I say, "Hey, about a swing." That's it. That's all I got.
Every conversation.
That about sums it up.
All you need, baby.
Well, the funny thing is,
That's great.
I ended up winning 4 competitions. And my very first day there, and I was one person who did not like to give my opinion. And as a rule in Toastmasters, you are not supposed to talk about politics, religion, or money. Our group talked about all 3. So we broke all the rules. And I was one of those people who did not like to be controversial, so I would always keep my opinion to myself, and they would ask me, "What is your opinion on the Bosnian War?" And I would say, "I don't watch the news. Thank you." That would be my response. Okay, and from that, I ended up winning 4 competitions. I actually ended up finishing 4th in the state in humor. Okay, so you never know what you're going to go through, even though it's not the most fun thing at the time. Okay? So the point is, applied knowledge is power. Just because you know how to use a hammer doesn't mean you know how to build a house. But that's what we're taught. All right, next thing. Job. How many heard the term? We all know the word job. In my business, they used to mean just over broke. Okay? I changed that into something else because I see it in my students. Job, to me now, means justifies our being. Because my students consider themselves students until they got a job. Then all of a sudden, like, hey, I'm a person now, I've got a job, I'm now contributing. So a job sometimes becomes our identification, becomes our title. And you know, again, everything is a choice. It's up to you what you want it to be. The bottom line is, what do you want out of your life? For me, I want to make a difference. I want to teach people lessons that hopefully will make their life a little bit easier. Now, I can't stop anybody from suffering, because in order to change, they've got to suffer a little bit. I don't know of anybody who's ever changed easily. It's always a lot of suffering, like a lot of failure, a lot of this. So I lost my train of thought. So job means justifies our being. And a lot of times I'm hearing some of you going, I don't know what's ahead. Well, let me tell you this, what do you want? Okay. In our business, we talk about how we're taught. Do, learn, what is it? Do, learn,
Teach.
B, no. Oh my gosh.
Have, do, be.
I did a presentation-
Define, learn,
Oh.
do.
Okay,
Versus.
do, learn, define. Okay, you do it, or you learn it, you do it, and it defines who you are. I was known as Mr. Plastics in my family, because I was in the plastics industry for 12 years, and I would just go, oh, I know what that's made out of, I know what that's made out of. I was known as Mr. Plastics. Okay? Most of us follow that path. We are never taught to define our life. Go learn it from somebody, and then do what they did. right? Most of us do learn, and it defines us. So many of us don't even realize we have a choice. Because again, we're not taught that. And the reason is, if you're not given a choice, you can easily be controlled. I truly, truly believe that. Most people think they only have two choices. Get a job, receive unemployment. There's a third choice. Start a business. Okay? This country was built on people who couldn't get jobs. I look around here, most of the stores and restaurants are Vietnamese, or Mexican, or something. People who can't get jobs, so they start a business. So my point with that is, what do you want in your life? What do you want your life to define you as? What do you want to be remembered by? It's up to you. It's up to you. Okay? I had another story. I call it my three fathers. I have my grandfather, my father, and my stepfather. My grandfather was a senator in the Philippines. He was known for his being ahead of his time. Okay? In the 1920s, he believed in divorce, which was, especially from a Catholic. By the way, I was born in the Philippines. Catholic, all the way. Right? And back then, he believed in the woman's right to choose. Meaning, if you weren't happy with your marriage, you could choose your husband. He was that far ahead. He was so popular, they named a town after him. Okay? He was known to be hardworking and fair and generous. Now, my father, he went through life being afraid of everything. He just, any type of confrontation, he would back off. Anytime it would be an argument, he would just get loud and walk away. He was never violent, thank God. My dad was never violent. He was just angry a lot. And when he died, there were a lot of people that attended his funeral. More so than he realized. And even though he was a quiet man, he did affect a lot of people. He did affect a lot of people. And then we have my stepfather. He was a merchant marine at age 14. Okay, he left his family, and this was during World War II, but he made millions with only a second-grade education. He died alone. No one attended his funeral. We buried him, I don't want to say at sea, we buried him yeah, we did go out to sea.
Yeah.
We did go out to sea. We buried him there, but nobody was there to attend his funeral. The point I'm trying to make is this. 3 different men, 3 different legacies. What legacy do you want to be? My grandfather left a legacy that people wanted to name the town after. My dad was just such a nice guy that a lot of people attended his funeral. My stepfather was into money. Died alone. What do you want for your life? It's up to you. Again, I'm not here to tell you anything. You decide for yourself what is right for you. I want to leave a legacy of knowledge. I want to leave a legacy of change. My second topic, oh yes, okay, so clear with that about life. My second topic was, don't be a dinosaur, be a cockroach. See how we have these, we put things together, cockroaches are bad, right? Actually, they're not. Let me ask you this, how many of you remember Kodak?
Right.
Where's Kodak today? How many of you remember Honda? Where's Honda today? So this is a tale of something that's too big to fail, it does, or no, the whole point of this talk is, when I say be a cockroach, why are cockroaches still around and dinosaurs not?
They're adaptable to their environment.
Hmm?
They are adaptable to their environment.
Exactly. Okay, we were always taught what? Only the strong survive. Well, the dinosaurs were pretty freaking strong, they didn't survive. They did adapt. Again, that's not what we're taught. Okay, so Kodak was one of the 5 largest companies in the world. And you know what their downfall was? Digital photography. But here's the funny part. They developed it. One of their engineers was the first one to come up with digital photography. And because they didn't want to change, because, oh my God, that means that's going to affect our film industry, it ended up killing them. And now they're no longer here. 5th largest company in the world, no longer here because they didn't want to change. So how stubborn are you about changing? Okay. Now let's talk about Honda. How many of you remember Honda when it first came out? How many of you remember the term pregnant roller skate? Okay, that was the Honda, was the pregnant roller skate. Look at them now. Okay, they have, is it Lexus? No, the Accord, right? Nicest cars. How many of you have heard of J.D. Powers and Associates? How many of you know that that was started by Honda? Honda started J.D. Powers and Associates so they could get feedback from their customers so they could improve on their product. Why do you think they always win the award?
Tricky.
J.D. Powers and Associates, Honda, #1 car. Well, guess what? They started it. So, are you holding on to things that don't work for you anymore? Is it time for you to change? Are you getting enough feedback to help you change? Okay. Again, my goal is just to make you think differently. Because what I've learned through all my experiences is that this is the most important thing, is how you think. Okay? Again, we've been bombarded, education, education, education. No. Mindset and habits. How many of you ever read a book, The College Courses I Took to Become a Millionaire? There isn't one. 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. Millionaire Mindset. Okay? Subconscious mind. It's all about how you think, not what you know. It's all about your habits. Okay? Why do 60% of the people who graduate don't get a job in their field? It's all about your history. It doesn't matter what you know, it's your history. What were you told all your life as you were growing up? Were you told, what the heck are you thinking? What makes you think you can do that? That's what's going to hurt you, not your knowledge. Okay. So, it's about our history. And what you want to do is reflect back on your life and see what happens. How many of you have heard of The Secret? I am living proof of The Secret. Okay? I live by 2 very simple rules. I always get what I want, and money always comes to me when I want it. And it has never failed me.
And you always get the front row parking.
And I always get front row parking. How many of you
He
saw-
does!
How many of you saw the video Secret? Okay, there's a part where the guy goes, I wanted front row parking. I said, you know what? I want the same thing. And son of a gun, I mean, I almost 95% of the time, I get front row parking. I can come here at 5 minutes before 11, and I'll normally get that spot there or one right here.
Or you could do what Rick did and just come at
Yeah.
5. and-
Yeah. Get the best spot every time.
So what will happen sometimes is, let's say I'm going to a crowded event. As soon as I pull up, someone will pull up. And it happens day in, day out, and I just laugh. I just laugh. And now the reason why I say I'm living proof of it, when I finally saw the video, I sat there and I analyzed my life. I went backwards. And one of the things I rated myself was on my baseball career back in high school. And I thought, you know what? Every other, and this is what I used to think, every other year I have a good year. And guess what? Every other year I had a good year. Now here's the weird part. When I was 14 or 15, I always said I want to work with women. And look what I do now. I work with women. Okay? It is amazing how powerful your mind is and how the unconscious will get you further. We think we know where we're going. We don't. How many of you have heard of affirmations? You know, you say things. So I read the book called
Bless you.
Smile. It's like, oh, man, that's my problem. Saying affirmations means absolutely nothing if you don't believe it in yourself. What happens is the universe says, you don't believe it, I'm not giving it to you. Okay? I have this funny little saying, your BS will determine your BS. Now most of you
Yes,
thought,
will determine
your belief system will affect your being successful. But notice how your first thought was, okay? You've been conditioned. You've been conditioned to think certain ways. Okay? How many have heard that? Doom, doom, doom. 3 notes. I guess I was off key. Da, da, da. NBC. Da, da, da. Okay. Repetition, repetition, repetition. Who says just do it?
Nike.
How do you know that?
They said it
Over
years.
and over and over and over. So one of my goals is to change the meaning of brainwash. Just think about it. Why do we wash anything?
Brain needs washing.
The brain needs washing. But why do we wash anything? To cleanse it out. So why is brainwashing bad? It should mean we cleanse the brain. But what it means is someone reprograms you. It should be, we should be worried about conditioning, not brainwashing. I think we should change the meaning of the word brainwash to clean everything out. I see things very differently. I have something that I want to put out there called twisted.
Called what?
Huh?
Twisted.
Twisted.
Okay.
And if you look at it, twisted means the way I see things. Twist. That's how my brain is. I see acronyms and everything. And it's just looking at life through different things. I was working in the garden the other day, and I hate gardening. I hate it with a passion because I had allergies. So being in the garden was the worst thing for me. And I don't know what happened. Maybe it was after my heart surgery or whatnot. But all of a sudden my allergies went away. No more allergies. I haven't had a headache. I haven't suffered from allergies. I can now drink milk. I can eat pizza. All those things used to have a negative effect on me. I suffered all kinds of things. Anyway, the point being this. We have been able to work on her garden for about a year.
Probably.
And what happens when you don't work on the garden?
You get a jump.
Weeds grow. That's exactly how your brain works. You don't tend to it, weeds start to grow. side of your garden. Because you're not paying attention to what goes in there. I don't watch TV anymore. I don't watch, I watch the news. Yeah, I watch the news through Facebook. But I pretty much control what goes into my head. As opposed to letting things come to me. I choose what comes in my head. And that's what I would recommend to you, is pay attention to what things you're listening to and watching. Now, we have a disagreement on this. I will watch some weird stuff. Okay? And my reasoning is this. I have to know what's going on. I may not agree with something, but I have to know what's going on. Because when you don't know what's going on, that's when things overtake you. See, many people would rather bury their heads than talk to the other side. The only way we'll get anybody to change their mind is not by making them angry, it's by listening to them. Okay? We try to talk about emotion versus logic. People are emotional. We're not logical. And I'll be the first to admit it too. Facts don't mean anything.
In a court of law, they do.
Huh?
In a court of law, they do.
In specific places, yes, they do.
Bank account.
But if you look at logic, okay, what we claim to be logic, and crimes that are committed, why was the crime committed? It's something sometimes emotional, especially crimes of passion. It's not called crimes of logic, right? It's crimes of passion. Our emotion is far stronger than logic. Okay, so I'll throw this one out there. I am a big fan of extraterrestrials. I love researching that type of stuff. Government says they don't exist. I don't care what you tell me. There's other things that say they do. Facts don't say that. I don't care. Because I've been lied to. Okay? We gotta be careful with information that we get. Who's giving us the information? I'm not saying facts don't matter. Let me be clear. But what's happening is we keep thinking that logic is what's going to get us through. You ever try arguing with someone logically who is emotional? It doesn't work.
You mean we make decisions based on emotion, not on
We
logic?
make decisions based on emotion, not on logic. Or else we wouldn't be where we are today. Okay? So hopefully in that sense you don't drive you crazy when you're trying to argue with someone, but I have all the facts! And they're not listening to you. Because the facts don't matter.
Well, in that case, you're not listening to them, so why would they listen to you?
What's that?
In that case, you're not listening to them, why would they listen to you?
That's true. Okay? I had my moment. I'm just going to be real about this. I had my moment of white supremacy. Okay? I was teaching at a school in Fremont. And I walked in there, 90% Indian. 90% Indian. I couldn't even pronounce my students' names. And I'm going, what the hell? You know, there's not a single Dave, there's not a single John, there's not a single Ryan. It's, you know,
Yes.
shit, it is Gurdeep, it is Avanti. I'm sitting there going, I can't remember half these kids' names. And then I realized something, like, this is what it feels like for someone who is afraid. Their world is different. And it was like, oh my God, that's what goes through their minds. They're seeing the majority of these people come in, they're not anyone they recognize. You know, that's when I realized that's how they think. They're not comfortable with this environment, having to learn some. You know, can you imagine struggling to learn somebody's name? Like, Why can't you be called Dave? I can remember that. You know, I'd have to keep saying, what was your name again? Gurdeep? How do you spell that? G-U-R, Gurdeep, okay. Gurdeep. Yeah, and then I had to keep doing that with each student so I could memorize their names. Okay? So the point I'm trying to make is this. Until you throw yourself on the other side, you can't possibly change their mind. Now I understand why they're afraid. Because it's something that's like, I don't know this world. I don't know these people. I can't even pronounce their names. So, it's about our environment, conditioning, history, learning, compassion. I'm now lost in my own thoughts. Okay.
But it's, I would also, if I could interject.
Sure, of course.
And this building stands for us tapping into our consciousness, into our guidance about what is true for us as spiritual beings living a human experience. And so for me to take that, and I admire all of you for the courage to take that kind of a place of consciousness into the business world. Because I think that that is something that's really important and needs to happen. And we can, through our consciousness, change what looks like a negative into a positive by reframing it from a place of spiritual awareness. And that moves us from here into our heart, you know, and connects everything together so we can move forward as one unit. And so I too like acronyms, and I have one play, perfect love is all around you. And to me that means that love takes us everywhere. Love can move before us. Love can create a new path. Love is, and we need to connect that, and that's the opportunity for me right now is love is creating love brought me up here. I got a call, I wanted to come up to NorCal, and I got a call that said, please come up to NorCal, we'll pay you. Okay, so that whole idea of following your bliss and working through, I think that the part that is the work is when we have to come face to face with our own belief system. We can face to face with our own history, and we have the courage to come from a different place. And the courage to walk from a different belief system into the world. And so that to me is a really important part of what you're talking about here, which is that consciousness, that awareness component.
You don't understand, you won't ever get your point across if you get somebody's blood pressure rising. Their fists start to close, everything shuts down.
They're then close to that.
You have to keep them relaxed and talk.
Yeah.
I have a funny story. I had a friend of mine who was Indian. His name was Bob Chandra. And he went to the University of Texas. And he was dating a black girl at that time. And this friend was a redneck. He said, Bob, we gotta keep ourselves pure here, man. You can't be dating no black girl. He grabbed him. He goes, look at my skin. This is not a tan. He goes, yeah, but you're different. He goes, you don't get it. Anyway, make long story short, the guy converted.
He's 10 now?
Now Dad. Okay, so I'll end it with baseball. So I came up with this. Two more things. Life. I wrote a speech called Life is an Acronym, and it stands for Living in Fear Every Day.
Say it again, please.
Living in fear every day. Many people live in fear every day. Not being good enough, not being smart enough, not being tall enough, not being rich enough. Fear doesn't get you anywhere. It only creates problems. Okay,
Are you going to give us something better?
Yeah, love it like everything else.
You guys rehearse this or something? Okay, when I say that, you guys say.
Is you
I'm
live,
like,
is
oh.
your life living it for everyone else? Okay, some people
That's you.
That wasn't me. Living it for everyone else. I do that, I deal this a lot with Asian students. They don't live their life, they live their parents' lives. And it's so sad. It's so, I have so many of them breaking into tears because they've let their parents down. I had one guy who was actually one of my students whose parents disowned him because he became a professional dance teacher and he didn't want to become an engineer. He said, "You are no longer my son." That's harsh. That's harsh. That's fear being driven into that guy. He's very successful doing what he's doing. And he's very happy doing it. And so what is fear doing to you? Where is it stopping you? So I'll end it with baseball. That was what I actually wanted to be growing up. I wanted to be a professional baseball player. My dream died when I was 19 years old. And I had been wandering ever since, until I got to be 35, when I decided I wanted to be a dance teacher. I have not changed. So baseball stands for to become a successful entrepreneur, be a life learner. Become a successful entrepreneur, be a life learner. And baseball is like life. There's always someone trying to strike you out. For every time you want to get home, someone's going to try to take you out. You don't always get the opportunity to bat when you want to. Sometimes doing nothing will still help you. Seasons, you have good seasons, you have bad seasons. You have hitting streaks and you have slumps. You have good years, you have bad years. And here's the funny thing. To be great, you only have to be 30% good. I don't know if anybody knows anything about batting averages in baseball. A good batting average is 300. That means they only are successful 3 out of 10 times.
Yeah, but they show up to the plate
They show up.
and they keep swinging.
And you can't hit a home run if you're afraid to strike out. Okay? You make it as a team. Sometimes games will last longer. Sometimes games will be cut off due to rain. It's so much like life. So the lesson in baseball, or in all sports, for every goal you want to achieve, there are going to be 5 people trying to stop you, at least. So you have to, that's what I love about sports. It teaches you to overcome those people who want to stop you. That's why, to me, it's very important that we keep a sports program. Most people don't value it. It is more valuable than you can imagine. Because A students will work for C students. How many of you have heard that? A students will work for C students because A students have to be perfect all the time. They can't handle failure.
So I get the sports thing. I think it has a lot of truth to it. But I also think that when we put out to the universe that 5 people are against us and trying to take us out, and I can speak from truth because my position was just eliminated and it wasn't a pretty scenario. I also think that if we put our attention on that energetically, that's what we attract to ourselves.
Yes.
Instead of putting our attention energetically on, there are all these amazing people out there that are trying to help me. If I stay true to what my role is, what Spirit is guiding me to do to contribute to the planet right now, then I will amass these people who are trying to help me. And I have so many people that are for me and supporting me, including folks here at this center, which I really appreciate. And I think our job is to learn to what our consciousness is, what we focus on expands.
Right?
And if we focus on the people that are, quote, trying to strike us out, then we're going to end up attracting more people trying to strike us out.
Okay, but that's not my
Yes.
point. That's not my point. My point is not to focus on it. My point is to know that for everything you want to do, there's gonna be some people trying to stop you, you just gotta go through that.
No, and I get that, but the way that I try to quote stop them is to not give them any attention, is to come from a higher ground in terms of consciousness, to see a bigger picture, to bless them. And believe me, I've gotten a real opportunity to practice this in the last week. Okay, I bless this job that got me up here. I bless the people, and I am working more and more to come from an authentic place around that. Because this is really important. This is what we're here on the planet to do right now. And we have a huge opportunity in the White House right now to continue to send it love and light and to continue to see it from a different place and hold that that light and love comes forth on the planet. Because if we don't do that, we're not going to have a planet that we can live on anyway.
Oh, I agree.
You know, so I'm not contradicting you. I'm just trying to understand in my own mind a higher a place that works better for me.
And you're absolutely right, we have a saying in our business, you get what you focus on.
Yeah, it's just quantum physics.
Yeah.
The observer shapes that which he or she observes. So I am going to shape my world, and I love the need versus want, because I want to make a contribution to a planet that works for everyone, and I want to be successful financially, or more successful than I've already been, and I want to live a life where I'm focused on the positive, so more positive happens.
Yeah, well, just pay attention to people talking. You listen to how many times they say need, and you'll know exactly what they
I
are.
think that's the biggest thing I'm taking away today.
I said it several times last night. We have relatives in town from Wisconsin. And I was talking about my work changes and need. Oh, nail on the head. I'm so glad I came this morning. Thank you. But I'm needing a refresh on the baseball acronym again. Can you tell me what it stands for again?
Become a successful entrepreneur
Entrepreneur.
by
Thank you.
applying life lessons.
Thank you. Thank you. That was great.
Can I do a selfish plug?
Go.
Please.
If any of you want to know about the future of business, our company, our CEO, is a member of the Harvard Business School of Executives. He gets the heads up of what's happening in the world right now. We get a 10-year head start on what everybody else gets. He is coming into town to Fairfield this Saturday. So if you want to hear a man who talks about, who knows what he's talking about, he's already told us what businesses are not going to be around in 10 years. Believe it or not, lawyers are going to be in trouble. Doctors will be in trouble.
Again, I gotta stand up to you on that one. It depends what field of law. Lawyers will never be in trouble because they're adaptable to their environment like a cockroach. So you're. So no matter what, any point can be argued, that kind of thing. You have to look, even doctors' medical health and health benefits, that it depends on how you adapt to the environment. So
Exactly. But things are changing, and they're going to.
they're always changing.
But most people don't want to accept the change.
AI.
You know, this is why Pittsburgh lost all its steel. People couldn't handle the change, and Pittsburgh just went downhill because they.
So there's a
couldn't adapt.
conversation on Saturday?
There's a conversation on
There's
Saturday.
a conversation on Saturday.
Yes.
It's in Fairfield. If you want more information, you can get it. from
He's
Deborah.
flipping brilliant.
This man is
The guy's
brilliant.
awesome. Awesome.
He has some amazing information, and he shares it with us. You know, like I said, we're getting it ahead of everybody else, so nobody else gets this stuff until it's
And
too
also,
late.
the Jelly Belly factory is in Fairfield.
Yes. Yes. Road trip.
And it's Saturday from 4 to
4 to 7 or 8 or something. I forget.
But if you're interested in it,
Forget what time.
we'd love to have you as our guest, find out what we know. Because this man lives in Tennessee, so he doesn't come out to California very often.
What's his name?
But he's
Bob Dickey.
highly intelligent.
Bob Dickey the
We
third.
want to share the information.
He's written a couple of books, Love Your Work and The Leap, I think it's called.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you.
bud.
Yeah. Thank you, Thank you. If you have any questions for him afterwards, please, he'll be around for a little bit, so make sure you, oh, he's got a couple
I got
more.
one more thing I forgot to mention. There's only 5 things in life you need. Okay? And that is food, love, air, water, and sleep. Without those things, you die. So I use the word flaws, F-L-A-W-S. It's not in that order, but it's a simple way to remember it. So your flaws are what you need in life: food, love, air, water, and sleep.
Wouldn't it be your flaws or what you
Food,
want?
love, air, water, and sleep.
No.
Sleep. Yeah.
So my flaws are what
She caught you using the word need.
Yeah.
flaws are what you need. So if you don't get food, you die. If you don't get air, you die. All right, thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you
And
so
with
much.
that, can we get in circle?
Thanks, Brad.
We'll close. Go. BJ, will you do the honors?
Sure.
Liver through here.
Thanks, Brad.
We have it ready?
Where's Bonnie?
She's cooking.
She's cooking.
Let's just take a deep breath in. And as we release the old words, the old thoughts, the old ideas, and take another breath in. Breathing in the newness that we have learned today as we put it to work. Breathe out, relax. As we move into our day, we do so with a lighter step, a smile on our face and joy in our hearts because of all the newness that we have learned as we remember that we are all here together in this place of growth and learning and beginnings and releasings and knowing that God's got our back and that all is well. And until we meet again, just keep knowing that we need nothing, but we want what we want. And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you. Well done. Excellent.
So I'll do it this way. Every time you say the word green, send me a buck. Just want to ask people, I reported to session for my speaking. Are you okay with this?
Yes.